Hello, we're going to talk about the Onswitch index in this clip, and from the 5 steps you would have learned how important it is to have a great customer experience on the phone. What the index does is it basically is a measure of how well people are performing on the phone when we're talking about what experience the customer will have. Now, some of you might not like it, you might not like the idea of it, and you might think that it's quite intrusive. However, for many other industries it's really the norm. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to discuss why, and then in later clips we're going to go on to what the reports look like that you get from the practice and what you can do with them. So the index is very simple. It's a mystery shopping program, and what it does is it puts in 4 calls to your practice every single month. The aim of it is not to be trying to see when it is a mystery caller or when it isn't. The point is that it's just a measure of how, when you're presented with the same question, you will deal with that answer, hopefully in the same format. So we put the 4 calls in. They can be at any time of the day, and we will ask normal questions that you will deal with on a daily basis. Typically new clients, so the 5 steps talked about how important it was to show this engagement level, to sound like you're interested in the person, so that when they're doing the ring round, as they usually do, you'll be the practice that stands out because you're being friendly, helpful and informative. So we'll ask questions such as, how much is a puppy vaccine? How much is it to castrate my cat? So general, neuter, how much are questions, which you're used to getting on a daily basis. Once we put that call in, the call will be recorded, and the mystery shopper, who is always somebody who is a pet owner, will score the call based on how warm and friendly you were, how much interest you showed in the pet, how informative you were about the practice, giving unique selling points, why us, and whether or not you offered the appointment. So the 5 steps showed you the structure in how to put the phone call together, and the index is basically measuring against those 5 steps. If you put those 5 steps together, what you're going to get is a good index score. Now, 4 calls coming in per month is not a great measure. Companies such as John Lewis have just 1 mystery shopper walking in per month, and if it isn't right on that particular visit, then basically the team have to review how they're doing things and they have to be retrained and whatnot. So the fact that we've got 4 calls is actually a decent spread over that month of how you would routinely deal with a how much is question. So you will be getting these questions day in, day out. You shouldn't really know whether it's Onswitch or not. We have practices that will call us and say, I think I've just been shopped. Yet when they get the recordings through at the end of the month, they'll find that it actually wasn't them. So the aim of the game is just to use the 5 steps, and every single time you're speaking to a client, you put those 5 steps into action. That way it doesn't necessarily matter whether it's a mystery shopper or not. What you will get is a decent idea of how those calls are dealt with every day. So once we put the 4 calls in, we score that as it's happening, and then we'll present you with a graph report, which I will go through in the next clips, and that will demonstrate in 3 areas, business basics, information and engagement, how well that call or the person who dealt with the call has done. We'll also send through the recordings, and this isn't meant to ridicule or to embarrass people. What it's there for is to use on a one-on-one session that is very safe with a line manager, and there's nobody really that will critique you better than yourself. So the idea is that you press play and you score yourself based on how you think that call went. So it might be that you can pick up that you sounded really quite flat, or that you spoke very quickly, or that you missed out quite a good opportunity to forward them onto your website, for example, for some great information about owning a new puppy. So that is what the index is about. It's people pretending to be potential clients, and it's just measuring based on the 5 steps and based on how good this experience is on the phone, and then enables you to look at that yourself via the graph and via the recordings as well. So we'll go on to the next clips looking at different graphs and what they mean and how you can increase your scores.